It started with the sound of rolling suitcases and boarding announcements. Just another ordinary afternoon at the airport. But within minutes, that quiet routine would be broken by something extraordinary. A young girl, barely in her teens, would walk toward a public piano that had been ignored for hours. And when her fingers touched the keys, the entire terminal would come to a stop. No one saw it coming. No one expected that kind of brilliance, least of all from a girl who looked so calm, so ordinary, until she began to play. She wasn't dressed like a performer. No expensive clothes, no sign of confidence that screamed attention. She was simply waiting for her flight with her mother, holding a small backpack and sipping water. But something in her eyes kept returning to that piano near gate 14. An old, slightly scratched upright piano placed there for anyone to use. Dozens had passed it without a second thought. Some had tapped random notes. A few children had banged on it earlier that morning. But the girl seemed drawn to it, as if it was quietly calling her name. When she finally walked over, few noticed. Some passengers glanced up briefly, assuming she'd play a simple melody. But the moment her fingers landed on the keys, something incredible happened. The first few notes were crisp, deliberate. Then suddenly, the pace exploded. Her hands began moving so fast that people nearby froze in disbelief. It wasn't random noise. It was Chopin's Etude Op. 10 No. 4, a piece known for its extreme speed and technical difficulty, something even seasoned pianists struggle to perform cleanly. Within seconds, a small crowd gathered. Conversations faded, phones lifted, and even the airport staff turned their heads. The sound of the piano sliced through the usual chaos. The announcements, the chatter, the noise. Everything seemed to pause. Those who recognized the piece stared in shock. Others, who didn't know much about classical music, could still feel the intensity, the passion, the precision. Every note landed perfectly. Every movement of her fingers was fluid. And yet, she didn't even seem to be trying. Her expression stayed calm, focused, almost serene. It was clear this wasn't a random girl playing for fun. This was mastery. Effortless, yet powerful. The kind of skill that comes only from years of dedication, hidden behind a shy smile and quiet demeanor. One man nearby whispered, "Is that even real?" Another took out his phone and started recording. Within minutes, dozens of passengers were filming. People stopped walking, children peeked through gaps between legs, and a few travelers even missed the boarding call for their flight, just to keep listening. The sound carried across the terminal. It was fast, clean, and emotional all at once. And then, as suddenly as it started, it ended, with one final, resonant note that seemed to hang in the air. For a moment, there was silence. Then, applause erupted. Loud, spontaneous, heartfelt applause from people who had no idea who she was, but knew they had just witnessed something special. The girl smiled softly, gave a small nod, and stood up. She didn't bow dramatically or look for attention. She simply adjusted her backpack, glanced at her mother, and walked away. It was over in less than 5 minutes. But in that short time, she had turned an ordinary airport waiting area into a concert hall. Some people followed her with their eyes, hoping to speak to her or ask her name, but she disappeared into the crowd. Her mother smiled quietly, seemingly used to that kind of reaction. It was as if this moment, this eruption of talent, wasn't unusual for her at all. Later, the videos began to spread online. Within hours, clips of the young girl playing at the airport flooded social media. People from all over the world were mesmerized. Comments poured in, "This is unreal. How is she playing that fast? That's professional-level performance." Musicians analyzed the video, identifying the piece, the technique, and her flawless rhythm. Others just watched in awe, replaying the video again and again. As the video gained millions of views, people started to search for her identity. Eventually, someone recognized her, a young prodigy who had been studying piano since the age of 6. Her name surfaced in music forums and competition archives. She had won a few regional contests, performed at small recitals, but had never been widely known. Until now, what stunned most viewers wasn't just her technical skill, but her composure. Even while surrounded by noise and movement, she played as if she were alone on a quiet stage. Her fingers moved like lightning, yet every note was clear, controlled, and alive. Pianists around the world shared the clip, calling it a reminder of raw, unfiltered talent in unexpected places. Some who were actually there described the moment vividly later. A businessman said he was on a stressful call when he heard the first notes, and for some reason, he hung up mid-conversation, unable to do anything but listen. A flight attendant recalled watching from a distance and feeling goosebumps. An elderly couple said they hadn't heard a performance like that since their visit to Vienna years ago. It wasn't just the music. It was the emotion, the surprise, the rare beauty of seeing true talent revealed without warning. What made it even more inspiring was that she hadn't played for attention. There was no stage, no spotlight, no audience waiting. It was a spontaneous moment, born from pure love of music. She saw a piano and simply couldn't resist the urge to play. When journalists later tried to contact her, her family remained humble. They said she wasn't seeking fame. She just enjoyed playing whenever she could. Her mother explained that music had always been her escape, her way to stay calm in new places. Airports, in particular, made her nervous, so she would often look for public pianos to ease her anxiety before flights. That day had been no different, but for everyone who witnessed it, it was unforgettable. They hadn't just heard music, they had seen something rare, a glimpse of genius in its purest form. Experts later analyzed her performance, pointing out the flawless articulation, the balance of tempo and emotion, and the almost impossible precision of her left-hand technique. Some even said that her interpretation of the etude showed maturity far beyond her years. And yet, in all the praise, she remained quiet. No interviews, no public statements, just a short response through her mother. She's happy that people enjoyed her playing. As the weeks passed, more public pianos began to appear in airports around the world, inspired by that viral moment. People started to sit down and play. Amateurs, professionals, even travelers just passing time. But every now and then, someone would mention that video of the girl who played Chopin at lightning speed. It became a symbol of unexpected beauty. The idea that extraordinary talent can appear anywhere, even in the most ordinary places. Airport staff at that terminal still talk about it. They say that every time they walk past that piano, they remember that afternoon. The hush that fell over the crowd, the sudden stillness, the applause that followed. Some even claim the piano hasn't sounded quite the same since, as if it remembers the touch of her hands. The story continues to circulate online.